Is the screen is the screen showing now? I turned it on. It should be showing now. Yeah. Cool, cool. Um, all right, so let's get into practicing and actually like doing the stuff that we went over. Now, if you were in the async that I did on, what was it, Wednesday? This will be similar because we're covering the same thing, but we're just kind of do it a little bit differently. The thing is even if you were there at the other one, or if you just watched it after I posted it on Blackboard, you got to remember, practice is how you are going to learn this stuff. You don't really learn this stuff just by like watching it. You have to actually do it. You got to practice. You got to practice often. The more you practice, is the more you're just going to start to get it, and the easier it is going to be for you to do your assignments. I mean, some of these assignments you can do in like, if you're on the ball, if you're understanding this stuff, some of these assignments you can do fairly quickly. So let's start. Actually, let's start from here. In other words, basically starting from scratch, as if we were starting an assignment or starting a project or something, right? So, how do we do that? Where do we start? You start by making a folder, right? So, like, you start with naming the folder. You name it you name the folder the name of the assignment, or even if it wasn't an assignment, like say you were starting like a project of your own, like a website like www.mysite.com type of thing, you can start it like that. Or if it was like assignment 1, you just name it assignment 1 or assignment 2 or assignment 3 or whatever, right? So, my project. Boom. Once you have that folder, you're just going to take the folder, drag it, and drop it onto VS Code. This here is a security thing. Do you trust the authors and the files and the folder? The reason why it asks you this, because some I mean, it's code, right? Like if it's, let's say it was an executable code that you just downloaded from the internet and you didn't know who made it or what it was doing. It could be like a virus and like mash up your computer or something, right? Like you want to make sure that you're not executing code that could be harmful. But when it comes to HTML, it's not going to happen because HTML is not it's not like executable code like that. It's just markup, so you're not going to harm your computer that way. And plus, it's our own file that we're creating, so you just trust the author, and you're all good. So once you do that, the folder that you just dragged in is going to be here. And this sidebar here, you can even get rid of it. And once you get rid of it, you just mouse over the line and pull it back out. So it's the sidebar explorer. You'll see the folder that you made right there. Okay. Once the folder is there, and I'm going to open I'm going to have this here so you can see what's going on. We can start populating this folder. Now, there's a couple of things we're going to need. General things that we got to do. We're going to need a folder named CSS, and you're going to see it populate here. So, as well, you know what I mean? So you know what, because this you're used to seeing. This is kind of new. So, CSS folder. This is where any CSS files will go. Well, we're not doing CSS yet, right? We haven't got there yet. But once we get to that class where we do CSS, then we'll start using this folder. Another folder you will need is a image folder. I always just name it IMG. This is where you're going to put any images that you may need, if any. But if you happen to end up using an image, just put it in that folder. Later, way later on down the line, you might need a scripts folder, but we can omit that for now. You're also going to need a new file. Does anybody remember what we named that file from yesterday? I was harping about it in class. What's the name of the file that we put as the go-to file in any directory? Anybody remember the name of it? Starts with an I. We name it index.html. Always remember, yes, index, yeah. There might be a delay in the chat. I remember on the last live stream I did, they were saying there was a delay in the chat. I thought that I fixed that, but I guess not. I don't know why. I thought it was the latency thing, but maybe not. This is like my first time really using YouTube live streaming in this way. The only time I've ever done it before is with like my PlayStation where you're playing a game, but so I'll have to figure out why there's a delay in the chat. But yes, it's index.html. So with these things here, we can start working. And then later on, if we need to expand it more, then we can do that. Like we might end up with more pages in here, right? So let's do that, and we'll do the more pages too. Because in the on Wednesday's stream, we just did the one page. We can do some more pages. So we can start writing here. So we need that, and we need this, the HTML selector. Always the first selector is the HTML. Then the head, and after the head comes the body, just like a human body. A head, and then the rest of your body. Okay, so we got the little boilerplate there. Then we can start building some structure to this. So we need or actually, we should put some stuff in the head. We need a title. So basic HTML thing. We need the character set. So it's like CHARSET, UTF-8. We need the meta description, and the content of the description is, we'll just label what it is so that, you know, we can kind of use this as another cheat sheet. We did a cheat sheet on Wednesday. We'll just build another one. Well, in this case anyway. The content, I don't know what we'll put in there. I'll just kind of do it as we go. So this is the meta that is what search engines look for to display in search results. So this is the meta description. That is what might be a better grammatical way to say this. Meta description, which is what search engines look for to display in search results. And I forgot to put the closing bracket there. Now, here's one thing that I talked about. See, like this is an element, right? Title, because there's an opening and closing bracket, opening and closing tag, telling this thing what it is. This is a title. Just like how this opening tag and the closing tag there, head, tells all this stuff where they are. Remember, I was saying that there are some tags that are closing or self-closing tags. There's an example, meta, self-closing tag. Why? Because we don't have this, right? There's no closing meta tag. There's just a, right? It's just a self-closing tag. So sometimes you will see that tags that just close themselves and they're good to go. It's not really something that you gotta, overthink about though. What else we put in here? The language attributes in the HTML tag, right? This tells the page like what language it's using, and the W3C checker or whatever is going to want to see that. So we will be putting that in when we do these. What else? We don't need to put the CSS in there, so we can just get down to here, into the body. So we're going to put a header, a navigation, a content area, and like a copyright area, right? And you can visualize what that's going to look like in your mind. I mean, a header, which is just the header top part there, and then the navigation part, and then the main content part, and then a little copyright thing where it says like, 2021 copyright whatever site.com type thing, right? So header, the nav, the main content and the footer. Or we can call this copyright or copy or footer. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Whatever, I'll just call it footer. Right? So, all of these, block element, block element, block element, block element, these are the structure of the page that we're going to build. The header, navigation bar, main content, footer. Right? So, in this header, we don't really need to put much in there. I mean, we'll just put whoops, H1, my bad. Basic HTML page. I mean, yeah, we don't need to go overboard with that because I mean we're not writing any CSS, so I mean, you could, if you wanted to, put some paragraph text here and say like, this is an basic HTML page with no CSS. So the nav bar, for the nav bar, we're going to put the structure for the navigation. Now, when it comes to navigation, you're going to notice after a while that we just do it the same time every time. We write the OL or the UL. It doesn't matter if you write an OL or UL. It's ordered list or unordered list. That's all it is. And then we write the list items inside of the OL, right? So we put like for every navigation item, we'll put it in a list item, right? So we'll write like li, and then we'll put the a tag inside of the list item. So this is a list item, li. A is an anchor tag, and then you put the link in here. Now for this anchor tag to work, we have to give it an attribute, which we haven't learned yet. We're going to learn that next week. We're going to like officially have our lesson on with the attributes and stuff. Should be next week. But I mean, to get this link to work, you got to put that in there, which is this. And then you can put the link to wherever, like, but again, we'll talk about this next week when we get to it. For now, just put the hashtag in there to make it a dummy link. So again, list item, a tag, and then the link, like the actual whatever you want the link to say on the front end. Right? And we'll do the same thing again. List item, a tag, and then whatever we want the thing to say. So again, as you are writing this, as we like, build this up, whatever, you want to train your you want to look at this, and your mind is going to start, hopefully, start to recognize the patterns in what we're seeing. Right, the pattern is you have opening tags and closing tags, opening tags and closing tags, opening tags and closing tags, and the content within, the thing that gets displayed in the front end within, right? Remember when I was breaking it down in like the first class and even this week, and I was saying, I'll do it down here. I was saying that anytime you see these things, you know that you're looking at an object. And I said in the class, I was like, look around your room, whatever room you're in, and imagine every single object that you're looking at as a tag, as an element, right? Everything in your room that you're looking at is an element. And it's sitting somewhere, it's just an element. Well, it's the same like all of this stuff. All of these things are objects, they're elements, they're things, right? Now, again, this might be the second time that you're looking at this stuff. So, of course, I don't expect you to remember it all, exactly what objects these are, but that will come with practice. But you know, nonetheless, that when you see these tags, these elements, you know that it's an object. You know, okay, it's in between triangle brackets, so it's a thing. And sometimes we have a thing within a thing, like in this case, the A tag is inside of the LI tag. They're just objects on the page, right? That's all they are, objects on a page. And after a while, you'll start to memorize, okay, yeah, it'll be like reading the code in the matrix. Like, yeah, that's a listing, like an ordered list. These are list items and yada, yada, yada. That'll come with time. You just get used to looking at what you're looking at here. Now, the main. Let's put on here, because we're going to make we're going to make it multiple pages. So, home page, and we can put some H2. Welcome to the home page. There doesn't need to be a space here. Sometimes I do that depending on what I'm doing. Sometimes I don't, but whatever. Welcome to the home page. We could put some paragraph text in here. You know, this is another feature that VS Code has that, let's say something like brackets, for example, does not have. Maybe if you put some extension on there or something, I don't know, maybe it'll work in brackets, but if you're using an editor that doesn't have this feature, just Google this, Lorem Ipsum text. And then you'll get like a Lorem Ipsum generator, and then you can make as much of it as you need and throw it in here. It's just dummy text to take up space. But in VS Code, you can just type in Lorem and then push the tab key, and it'll get you some of this dummy text. And for some reason, mine, I put it outside of the paragraph tags. Lorem tab. There. There's another way you can do this. You can also just type in LOREM and put a number. lorium 200, and it'll give you the number of dummy words that you asked for, right? So yeah, now the footer, we can just put in here some H4 or H5, it doesn't matter, and type in and, or like the and symbol or ampersand symbol, and copy semicolon 2021 basic site.com. So we got our basic site, or the home page anyway. Let's take a look at this. There's maybe a couple more things I might add to this. So how do we look at this? We right click on the index, the tab, the tab for the page that we're working on. Right click on that. And then say copy path, run up on our browser here, paste it in there. Boom, there's the page. Now, we could do little things to kind of jazz this up a little bit, just using HTML. I mean, we could do something like this. Whoops. We could do something like in between each block, like this is the header, this is the navigation bar, this is the main content, there's the footer, right? This is the header, there's the navigation bar, there's the main content, and there's the footer. We could put like HRs in here, horizontal rule, horizontal rule, horizontal rule, and horizontal rule again. I mean, like, take that and refresh it, and now it looks like it has a little bit more of a thing, you know? We'll put one at the top too. You know, looks more like sectioned off or whatever you want to call it. So that's all well and good. Now, what do we do? What's the process of, like, okay, we made the first page, now what do we do? Because we want to make other pages. Like, what about the About Us page and the blog page? What do we do? Well, we do it the easy way. Because, think about it. We already have everything done, so there's no point of typing all of this again, right? You don't want to do that, no. What we want to do is make the new file. Oh wait, no, first, hold on, wait. Before we do that, we made these links dummy links, right? We made these dummy links, but we need to change those. So we need to change these to the location of the files that we're going to be making. So change that to that. We'll change this. All we're going to be putting here, like notice, we just put the name of this file, index.html, index.html. That's all we're going to do. We're just going to put the file names in there. So about.html and then blog.html. Like that. So these literally link to the file. We're going to be talking about that more later on. But just to make this thing work, we have to do that. So about, we're going to make these new files. So you right click here, say new file. And we're going to make while we do this, I'm going to bring this up here so you can see it happening in real time. New file, about.html, and blog.html. So those pages are now there. There's nothing in them. But all we got to do is copy all of the stuff on the main page, now that it's all done, and paste it into the other ones. So when we paste it into the About page, all we got to do now is change the content in the main content area, because everything else is going to stay the same. The footer is going to stay the same. The nav is going to stay the same. The header is going to stay the same. I mean, think about it. When you go to any website, does the whole site change when you go to the other pages? No. It's the same template. It's just different content in the content areas, right? So we can change this to About page. And we can change the H2 to About Us. And we could save that. And then we will paste everything that we also pasted in the About into the blog page and do the same thing. I'm going to put our blog, but whatever. And we could even make some spoof entries here. So let's get rid of this. Put some H2. Some paragraph text. Lorium 200. Enter. Give us this. And we could just kind of like copy this and paste it so that we can make it look like there's a. So highlight that, copy it, and we'll just paste a couple of these in there just to kind of make a. Something like that. Now let's take a look. There's the About Us page. There's the blog page. Back to the home page. Right? So that is how that is done. See, easy enough. So when you're ready to start generating, because you're going to have to generate pages like this in your first assignment, you're going to have to do that. So that is how we do that. Okay, so let's, we still have time here. Do y'all want to do another page? Like, well, first let me ask this, because I posted the Tuesday practice. I posted it on the on like all of the classes. So all the classes have that on there. Did y'all go through it? Did y'all watch it or no? Yeah, the first live. I posted it in Blackboard. Actually, let me show you just in case you didn't see. So if you go to lesson files, I posted the link to Wednesday async, and it has the YouTube link to it. And when this one is done, I'm going to post the link to it as Friday async under this week, and I'm going to do that every week so that both async sessions will be in that week, right? It's the same, we're covering pretty much the same thing. I'm just going to kind of do it one way in one async and kind of do it in another way in the other one, right? Or kind of, because I mean, like it's like the same practice, but just maybe we'll put different content or like maybe make it a little bit different or whatever. Same, practicing the same thing though, right? One thing you gotta remember is that when it comes to HTML and even more so CSS, there's multiple ways of doing the exact same thing. Just like how there's multiple ways of calculating 10 plus 10, right? The easiest way is to say 10 plus 10, but there's multiple ways you can get to the conclusion of that of equating 10 plus 10. It's the same with CSS, I mean HTML. HTML is just HTML, but CSS, there's multiple ways of doing the same things in CSS. So I watched it actually. Okay, good. But came back today to ask if assignments you posted are due. No, I took the dates off the assignments because those dates that were on the assignments are like from the import when you import the class to the new class. Those dates are gone now. So when I hand out the first assignment, I'm handing out like this week coming up, and as I hand out the assignments, I'll put the dates on them. But you can. I wasn't sure if I was supposed to be building with you at the time, or if we're only watching to observe for now. No, you can build it with, you can build it with. But if you didn't, then you can just rewatch it and build it. Or just rewatch it and build it as you watch it, and then you can pause it if you need to pause it. Right? So, okay, here. This is what we'll do then. We're gonna add now a fourth page to this, and we'll kind of write some content there. So in here, whoops. What do we call this page? I don't know what to call the page. Page 4. Or you could call it cheat sheet page or something like that. Now, because we are doing this here, because remember, the other pages don't have that in there, right? So we have changed something. And we're going to want that change to be consistent across all of the pages, right? Because look, you wouldn't want this to be like the home page has 3 links, the about page has 3 links, but this page has 4 links. That doesn't make any sense. You want this link to appear on all of the other pages. So you have to remember to, why didn't that, page 4.html. Ooh, that's in the wrong place. I had the text outside of the, there. See how it's blue now when it was black before? Because I had the plain text in the wrong place. But anyway, we're going to have to copy this now and paste it on the other pages so that when we go to those pages, the links are consistent. Right? Now, this file we didn't make yet, but we'll make it here. New file, page 4.html. Let me just ask, is all of this making sense so far? Is everybody following along, and like does it make sense what we're doing? And if I'm ever going too fast, just let me know. Is everybody been able to follow along and understand what we're doing? Okay, good. If you can understand the structure of that, that's excellent. That's what I want you to understand at this point, is the structure and what you're looking at when you see these elements, knowing what they are, and knowing that you're looking at an element is how I should say. That's where I want your mind to be at. I missed the first part today, but since I watched you watched the Wednesday async. That's perfect. That's what we're here to do, right? Because even if you miss it, it's still content that you should watch. I mean, it's there for you to learn, right? Yeah. So we're gonna just take any one of these pages here, all right? Copy it, paste it in there, and welcome to page 4. And in this page, we're going to just write some stuff. So, similar stuff to what I did in the Wednesday async. So, well, home to page 4. Welcome to page 4. So, H1, whoops. So we're going to do some type, and we're going to write a little explanation. So we'll write it in H4 so it's smaller. So and this I should say headings. Headings are no, better way of saying this. To make a heading, we use heading tags. Heading tags like H1, H2, all the way up to H6, but not exceeding, not higher, not exceeding than H6, because there is no such thing as there's no H7. You know what I mean? There's only H1 up to H6. Okay, so H1, this is H1. H2, this is H2. H3, this is H3. H4, whoops, H5, I don't know why I put a capital there, H5, this is H5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and lastly, this is H6. Let's take a look at this. See? So as we can see, like I said before in the sync, these different tags, these different elements behave differently depending on what it is. Just like when you look around your room, there are objects in your room that behave differently than other objects, right? There are things that I can do with this jar or this soda stream bottle that I cannot do with my headphones, I guess. I don't know. Just trying to give you an example, right? So you got to remember that, like, just like how, just to show you again, see our navigation here? Well, why does it have 1, 2, 3, 4? Because it's list items. And because this is an OL, which means it's an ordered list. If I change it to UL to make it an unordered list, it's going to change the behavior of the list itself, right? It's going to make it bullet points instead of numbers. So now remember, I changed it on the one page. If I wanted to universally change it, I'd have to go to each one and do it over again to make all of the pages ULs. So this is something you have to remember, is that now that I made it UL on the one page, you got to do it on all of the pages to make it consistent. And you want these things to be consistent. Again, think of any other website that you go to. What do they all have? Consistency. When you go to different links in the website, it looks the same, just the content changes, right? For the most part. So, where are we at now? Page 4. That was what's the face? Underneath here. Here's another thing. We could build further structure to this. I mean, we don't have to, but we could. Like, we could put this into sections or something like that if we wanted to make it easier to read. Like, we could have let's see, welcome to page 4, cheat sheet, and then we could take this and X it off. So like Command X to put it in your clipboard, to cut it, and we could write more of these in here and then put it in there. Like this. Because remember, what is a div? It's an all-purpose container. We use it to contain whatever, anything we want. Whoops. There. And you want it to be indented. This is another thing when it comes to structuring your web, your HTML. You want your indents to be proper. You know what I mean? You want your indents to be properly formatted. Okay, because now this is the main content div here, and that's wrong. This should be out there. So yeah, and this should be out there. So you want the opening div here to be on the same line, on the same indent line with its closing div. This H1 is a child of this. This H2 is a child of this, of the main. This div now that I just added is a child of the main. And all of these tags are child of the div. So you can see the hierarchy. This is why we indent this stuff this way. So you can see the hierarchy of the HTML structure. Right? Parent, siblings, right? And so another way of thinking it, like, this could be, say this was me. This would be my dad, and this would be my grandpa. And if we go up, this would be my great grandpa. And then the HTML tag would be my great-great-grandpa or whatever. You see what I'm saying? There's a hierarchy. We can look at the hierarchy If we go to inspect element code, you can see it in here too, same way, right? Body, siblings, and like these are children of the body, right? And this is a grandchild of the body. Same with this, grandchild of the body, right? But don't worry, that won't be the last time I'm gonna be talking about that. It's something that I'll be consistently talking about until you understand it, I guess. It's gonna take time to understand it and conceptualize it, I guess. But you'll just start to understand it after a while. So yeah, there's that, and then we can put another div, and then we can say h1, and then we can say what's the word? Or way to, well, block versus inline elements. So we will put a block element. So, well, first we'll explain it. So H4, a block element is an element that takes up the full width of its, I should say, parent container. Regardless of the size of the content, I guess. So a block element is an element that takes up the full width of its parent container regardless of the size of the content it has. Well, what does that look like? I'll show you. I am a block element. Right click me and go to inspect element. So this thing says, I am a block element. Right click me and go go to go to inspect element. And it'll show you, see, when you right click this thing and you go to inspect element code, exactly when you do that, what does it do? It highlights the thing, which is this H4, right? Because remember, everything that we put on this page is a element, right? Or is inside of an element. So this is an H4 element that we're highlighting, that we're looking at. What does it do? Look, where it says I'm a block element, right click me, and go to inspect element. I didn't refresh the page, so it still says 2.2, but whatever. When you highlight it, it goes across the whole page, even though the content only goes to like not even half the size of the area there. Well, that means that it's a block element because it's taking up an entire block. on the page, right? And I mean, we have pure block elements on here anyway. The navigation links are not block elements though, but we have pure H1, H2. Any H text is block element. Paragraph text is block element. A div tag is a block element, right? The horizontal rules are block elements, right? So we got pure block elements on here, besides these links. So put some H4 again. We'll say an inline element is an that does not take up its own line. Yeah, an inline element is an element that does not take up its own line, like going across the page. Rather, it exists inside or in line, like it exists within. It exists within any other element, or even if it isn't in another element. I mean, technically every element is inside of an element because everything is inside of the HTML, right? But look, if I just make let me go to Google or any search engine and get an image of a thing. I usually just use a car or something. What kind of car do I want to use? I just don't want a picture like humongous sized picture because I always have them too damn big. See if I can hot link this. So what you should do, go to any picture on your, like, just Google some picture or whatever. And you could either try to hot link it like this, and go to copy image address, right? And then we're going to put an image. Yeah, let me do it the other way. So put an image tag, img, source, and just paste what you copied in there. Now there's more stuff that we would have to add to this, like an alt tag, but we're gonna chop that up later, what that is. And sometimes that's not the right one. This is the one. Sometimes they allow it, and sometimes they don't. There. Depending on the site that you're hot linking from, they might not allow the hot link. And if they don't, then you have to do this. They don't, like if you put if you do what I did and the image doesn't show up, then you have to like right click it and save the image as, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna save it in the image folder that we just made, right? So let's do that. There, my project image folder. I'll even make this a little, oh wait, it's that web picture thing. So that ain't gonna work. That's not good. So, okay, here's another thing. If you go to do this, and you go to save it, and it says like the name of the file .webp, you might want to find something else because like if I save this, see, it doesn't show up, like it doesn't work. So alternatively, what you can do is just take a screenshot of the image itself, or just find a different one. Just find another one. All right. So let's see if I can find something smaller anyway. Like this. Save in the jazz. And this is a JPEG, which is what we want. So I'll save that in there. So let me just double check to make sure I saved them in the right place. No, I didn't. Oh, wait. There I did. Okay, cool. So we got the image. And we can do this. Source is going to be img /car. There. Then we can go up in here, and there's our image. Okay, so okay, yeah. So look. Actually, wait. We're gonna write above the image in H4. Below is an image. Images are inline elements. Right click it and press inspect, and you will see that it only highlights the space the image takes up. That's a little wordy, but again, it says below is an image. Images are inline elements. Right click it and press inspect, and you will see that it only highlights the space that the image takes up. So refresh that. Right click this, inspect element code, and when it highlights it, it only takes up the space that the image takes up. Because that's just how inline elements get down. Because they're inline. Just like them links up here in the navigation. When I highlight the UL, that's a block element. The list item, but then when I mouse over the A tag, it doesn't go across the page like that. The A tag is an inline element. And that's the difference between block and inline. Okay, so what else we gotta go through here? We did here. We'll do some what's it face? Some of this. So div, and we will put some h1, and we will say type and stuff. So we'll put some paragraph. What we'll do so h4, I guess. h4 bold text. And then we'll put another h4, I guess, and say we can make some text bold by wrapping it in strong tags. So then down here, we'll come and make a paragraph text, and we'll lorem that up. And we're just going to find some text in here and wrap it in strong tags. See, when we make the strong tag, which is also an inline element, which we could put here, we can put in the heading in the h4. We can make some text bold by wrapping it in strong tags, which happens to also be an inline element. The strong tag, right? It's inline because you're going to see what it does is it does the whole inline thing. So cut some of the lorem text out and paste it into the strong tag. And when we look at it here, see, what is those strong tags doing? It's behaving, it's doing its work, it's working its little magic in line, inside of the paragraph tag. Right? So that's bold. Then we can do italic. And we'll run some more h4, keeping it all consistent. Italic text. We can make, so yada yada yada, h4. We can make some text. I mean, we could word it a little different so it's not so robotic. I tags make text italic. And then again, paragraph. If these blocks are Whoa, wait. Why do I have this twice there? My bad. Yeah, there. So, heading, explanation, example, heading, explanation, example. If you really wanted to, if it makes it look cleaner, you could do something like this. Put a break in between these. It's going to add space. If it makes it look more aesthetically easier to read for your eye. So lorium that up again. Anywhere in between there, throw some I tags. And cut some of the stuff out there and paste it in here. Done. And so we'll take a look at that. And we can see in our I tags we have italic. I'm going to put a VR here too. So each one of these will be split up nicely, nice and clean. What the hell is that? Not what I wanted. The next one is highlighted. Let me just check the chat to make sure. Okay. So highlighted text. Page 4. Mark. I should put these in like. Well, you could put them in like quotation marks, or you can do the Okay, if you gotta step out, then take it easy. Have a great weekend, and you can do the right. We're almost done, so it's all good. But you can follow along the rest of it at your convenience. So have a good weekend. So mark tags, highlight stuff. So do that, and then we'll put the paragraph, lorium tab, and then we'll add in some mark tags in here. And we'll just throw some of this in there. And we will see that it does this. Last, we will do the, what's it called? Brain part again. The span tag. Or this should be capital. And so remember, all of these says, which happens to also be an inline element, we should also state that just like the rest of the following type tags, they're all inline tags. just to state that so that nobody starts thinking that like, oh, maybe one's not. There are all of these things that we've done so far. The bold text, italic text, highlighted text, and span tags are all inline elements. Span tags are all-purpose inline tags you can use to wrap stuff and manipulate it in some way. Anytime you want to take a thing and have it work in line and wrap it and do something with it, use one of these tags, right? So lorem enter, or lorem tab, whatever. Write up some span tags in there somewhere and cut out a whole heap of this, or copy it, whatever, paste it in there. Now, off the cuff, once you do this, them span tags they don't do nothing. You have to tell it what you want it to do, right? See, nothing has changed here. But these span tags are to be used with CSS to make it do what you want it to do, okay? So, I mean, just to show you, we can put this in there. Style equals color, colon, red, semicolon. And once we tell it what to do, then it's going to do what we told it to do. Alright? So, that is pretty much it. Any questions? Pretty easy, right? Not hard. I know there's a delay, so I'm just going to wait to see if any questions pop up. But that's pretty much what we needed to go through. Let me just double check there's nothing more to go through here. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'll wait to see if there's any questions. If not, then you can go. I'll leave this up there and wait for the questions. If I see any questions pop up, I will answer them. I'll give it a few minutes and then I'll end the stream. Alright, so I was waiting to see if any questions popped up, but none are coming in, so we'll call it a day and have a great weekend.